India's United Payments Interface or UPI expands its reach in the Indian Ocean region. Prime Minister Modi today launched UPI in Sri Lanka and Mauritius and called the launch linking of historic ties with modern digital technology. The launch, in which Prime Minister Modi, Sri Lankan President and the Mauritian Prime Minister joined virtually, allows Indian nationals to make digital payments through UPI while in Sri Lanka and Mauritius. It also allows citizens of Mauritius to make payments in India. So what does this mean both diplomatically and also in terms of tourists who are traveling from India to Sri Lanka? Joining us this evening, former Foreign Secretary Shashank. Mr. Shashank joins us here from New Delhi. Also with us this evening, Nasir Salim, Managing Partner of Flexi Capital. Mr. Shashank, sir, first, what does this mean diplomatically? Digital public infrastructure, since we had the conversations during the G20, is seen as a potential place where India can build its soft power in the neighborhood. Would you see this as steps towards that objective?
Yes, indeed. I think India showed its global reach through the G20 success. And now when we go to the fintech area, there, of course, the Indian UPI system is a unique system in the world, and many others would like to join it. But I think it's a step-by-step approach. So country by country, we are trying to work out arrangements with different friendly countries to see how best we can work out this UPI outreach for foreign travelers to India and Indian travelers to those countries. I think there are going to be some complications in the beginning because there will be different limits for different banks and for different purposes. But I'm quite sure that gradually these things will be papered over and we should be able to work out a good system whereby you don't have to move through either petrodollars or many other third country currencies, but directly you can work through your own currency and the currency of the country where Indian travelers are going.
Right, that's an important point that you make there. Nasir Salim, how do you see this playing out? I mean, what would be the volume of it? This could well be a first step in terms of expanding the trust and the reach of UPI and India's digital public infrastructure itself in these areas and region of our influence.
Good evening, Veeray Raghav, and thank you very much for having me on your show. I think, very key points on data, that volume that suggests to you what's happening on the UPI interface. And I must tell you this, as far as, I have the numbers in front of me, Raghav, which I'd like to share with you and your viewers. As of June 2023, the Unified Payment Interface transactions in India were calculated to be approximately 14.7 trillion Indian rupees. Now, that's a mammoth number. Although this number was a slight decrease compared to the previous month, the value of UPI transactions has grown extensively, Veeray Raghav, from less than 550 billion Indian rupees in August of 2018 to now. I think also, if you look at the India spread, this is, of course, total, but if you look at the geographical spread as far as India is concerned, the South Asian countries and in India, if I combine these two, there has been an 83 billion worth of transactions in rupee terms in the year 2023 alone. And this is again a significant, increase from the previous financial years, which was around 45 billion. So, increased penetration of smart service applications, digital technologies are the primary contributors to the enormous growth in digital payments in the country. However, I must caution, Veeray Raghav, that there are certain other challenges also which we are facing now in terms of fraudulent transactions. And that is something which we need to be very, very cognizant of. I'm hoping that the RBI will be looking at some more white papers and solutions on the UPI interface to ensure that fraudulent transactions do come down. And I'd like to bring upon certain data points there as well. The highest number in the fiscal year 2020 to 23, Veeray Raghav, we saw UPI fraud cases exceeded 95,000, a notable increase from 84,000 cases reported in that of 21-22. As per the Ministry of Finance, a staggering 55% of all digital payments frauds in India are associated with UPI transactions. So that's again something, while the opportunity, as you asked, is huge.
Right. And
now, of course, we're looking at cross-border transactions. It's very important to put a very close watch and monitor, Veeray Raghav, on the UPI frauds that happen.
Right. Important point that you make there, Nasir, as well as Mr. Shashank. Thank you too for joining us and sharing your thoughts. Obviously, this is work in progress. We'll keep a close track of it. That's all we have time for, unfortunately, on the Southern View this evening. The news continues here on NDTV.